just one-on-one. That's the way we do it, baby.
Shut up, will you? How's it going? Today, me and Graham, on our own, are going to talk about Mother. Because Shane didn't see it.
And now we can't see him.
We can see each other. We're going to talk about Mother.
Oh, brother.
I didn't mention APE Movies at all. Okay. Do you want to try to give a summation of this film as best you can?
Well, I wouldn't really call it a film. I would call it lots of things, scenes put together.
I think we've got to try to get a basic plot.
Okay.
There is a basic plot.
Yeah, okay, it's basically we see the film is about a woman who's living with a writer, an artist, and we see kind of it's hard. She's given him all her love, but he's only happy if he's spreading his love to his fans, and no matter what she does, she can't get what she wants from him. And
I don't know if I agree with that synopsis. Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence play a seemingly happily married couple who live an idyllic life in a kind of Garden of Eden type arrangement in a lovely house, and their happiness is disturbed by the arrival of strangers. Or is it? And that's Mother. I didn't do a great job there, but that was basic enough. So I remember I had to kind of convince you to go see this movie.
Strongly.
You took some convincing, and did I do the right thing?
It's if someone else asked me, I'd say it's a film you do need to see. But did I don't think I enjoyed the film. I definitely felt something, but I didn't feel comfortable coming out of the cinema. I had these strange feelings leaving the film. I didn't trust the world around me. I felt like
Sounds great.
it was very surreal, and even after leaving the cinema, everything felt surreal. I felt like I was on LSD or something. It was just, the film was very, I can't even explain the experience of it.
I suppose we'll probably get into that, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's a strange movie. This is partly why I wanted to see it and review it, because I'd heard that you either loved it or you hated it. It was very hard to have like a down the middle opinion about it, and I think that's fair enough. So I don't know, based on what you said there, whether you enjoyed it or not. I don't know if that's
I'm not gonna even talk about the structure of the film. We know obviously the film's not structured the way a film should be structured, so I'm not gonna flaw on that. But like our main character, Jennifer Lawrence, she's not a likeable character. Like, do you know, she's constantly complaining, and like, fair enough, there's a lot of bad stuff happening to her, but there's no kind of instant in the film where you go, oh, she's a nice person. Like, she doesn't save the cat or anything like that. It's just, she's doing all this because she loves this man, but in a way that is kind of a selfish kind of thing she's doing. So I just found her to be that annoying girlfriend that someone could have. And that's what I felt about her. Not her acting is one of Jennifer Lawrence's best performances, but just the character was just, I really didn't like the character. And as the film went on and these people were coming in kind of making things worse for her, it was more of I was kind of annoyed rather than kind of intrigued by the story. So I don't know if I can't say if I actually enjoyed the film.
Okay.
Ingo.
I've never been called that before, except by my Australian cousins or whatever. Yeah, I think it hinges on, you said you had trouble identifying with the character, and I think that all comes down to whether you want to take the movie at face value. Like, spoiler alert, the movie is not on the level. It's not objective reality that's being depicted in this film. It's a kind of a metaphor for many different things. It's like a biblical metaphor. It's a metaphor for Mother Earth. She plays a metaphor. She plays a figure representative of other things, not an actual living, breathing human being. And you'll either love or hate the movie based on that. and I think you seem to have an issue with the fact that, you know, once it's clear, as it becomes clearer as the movie progresses, that she isn't a person in the normal sense.
It wasn't even that, no, it was even at the beginning. It's just, I find you should, you know, you kind of need to root for the character you're following from the beginning of the, well, not necessarily from the beginning of the film, but you need to root for that character, and she's no kind of traits that you kind of, for me, that you like about her. Like for me, I found her very, I do sympathise with the character as the film progresses. I feel sorry for her, but I don't like her.
And what do you think about like the fact that she's probably meant to be representative of other things? She's not supposed to be thought of in terms of like being a regular character. You know, we can't think of her as like, you know, Mary or Joe or whoever. Oh God, what the fuck it's saying?
No, I get what you're saying. Like the whole film is one big giant metaphor, and that's fine. It's not like a typical film. It's like it's all structured on this big metaphor. Nothing is kind of really real in a way. It's not structured like a film, but just it's kind of. I still think you need to kind of like the character you're following, and I didn't. So I was kind of. I just couldn't get into it. It's just the flow of the film is, you know, it's very slow, and it's even though like it's a surreal film, no character is really kind of real, but like at the same time no one is acting real ever. Like everyone's reactions are just over the top, and you know, it could have been done better in my eyes. It's like.
I think the movie gets increasingly frenzied as it goes on, and I actually found the first maybe hour of the film to be kind of the most draggy. It does drag. There is a bit of like the first hour is, you know, what's happening here. The tension feels like it's simmering without really exploding, and then when you kind of figure out what the movie's about, that he's literally heaping, you know, allusions to things on top of each other, and nothing is to be taken at face value, then I was like, okay. And then he just went all out. Aronofsky went all out, trying to just dazzle you basically for the last hour with just one expertly staged set piece after another, and like some of the filmmaking on here is just wow.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah. And I wouldn't say it's style over substance. I wouldn't even go down that route.
I don't know.
No, I wouldn't. It's just, but it just felt like that. It was just like they do this slow build up just for this big extravagant kind of explosion at the end, and when it gets there it is a relief, because you're just waiting for something to happen rather than awkward exchanges between characters. And everyone's performance in the film is brilliant, but it was just the same.
I did think it was for Jennifer Lawrence, she's not an actress I particularly like. I think she's got kind of one note that she sticks to that everyone seems to think is fantastic, but for me it's like, yeah, you know, this is Jennifer Lawrence doing Jennifer Lawrence again. And in this, she's slightly miscast as this kind of, what would you say, sort of beat down, supplicant kind of character, and I don't think that really suits her, even though she does her best, and you know, she's not bad, but I think another actress in the role would have worked a bit better.
I didn't mind her in it. Like I know I'm used to her kind of traditional acting style as well. Yeah. I felt like with this one went way back to her roots with that, like the film, I can't remember the film,
Winter's Bone.
Winter's Bone, yeah. But just like her performance was like spot on, and they did kind of establish that she's much younger than her husband in the film. So I was kind of.
So you just found the fact that there was no kind of like human story to hang on to, that was the main issue that you have with it, which I think is a fair enough.
Yeah,
it's
issue. not even just that. It's just like. Yes, no one's kind of reactions in the film were bleak, except Jennifer Lawrence. She is the only real type of person in the film, really, and everything around her is like crazy. But she just wasn't a kind of person that I would kind of root for. Yes, I did feel sorry for her, but you know, she doesn't. There's no good trait for the character in the film. There's nothing I like about her.
What about the idea that this is first and foremost the work? It's a very personal work by, you know, an artist. That this man is speaking about things that happened to him. Like the whole idea of it's about it's kind of a metaphor for Mother Earth. It's a metaphor for this, that, and the other. But it's also a metaphor for about the artistic process. And you know, on that level, you have to kind of take it on its merits, because it's a man talking about things that are probably real to him, and he's doing it in a very outlandish way and in a very superficial and showy way, but it's coming from a real place. And that to me made it a realer experience than I think it's been given credit for elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well. Like the whole film is kind of a metaphor, but I saw it more as well through Jennifer Lawrence's kind of point of view of it, where it's the type of like living with an artist, and she's given all this love, and it's not enough for this artist. He needs to spread it to his fans, and then when he's getting into what he loves, she doesn't understand it. And I felt like the whole film was basically the loneliness of living with a desperate artist, and you do as much as you can do for this person.
I think the movie was about the struggle for inspiration for the artist.
For him, that was his.
Is actually, if you think about it, the main character. We follow Jennifer Lawrence, but her character is only a conduit for other things that bring him inspiration.
Yeah, she was the muser. I'd find him more as the antagonist, and she was the protagonist of the story.
Maybe.
Like he's causing the chaos and the conflict of the film, and the film is following her, trying to deal with it and understand what's going on. And
what about you know, it's kind of a film of endurance. Like it goes to some very extreme places in the final third. Like I was, you know, one of the reasons why I want to see it is because it had an 18 cert, which you have to really work to get these days. And by God, does it earn its 18 cert by the end of the movie? And you know, I loved it. I lapped up as extreme and crazy as it got. I just like, I went with the madness. I was happy with it.
I didn't actually, and I'm not shy to violence. I like violence in movies, but I think the part with the baby was too much for me. I just really didn't like that, and it made me uncomfortable.
I was delighted.
It made me jump in the cinema, but not in an excited way. I liked how the film jumped into this mad chaos, but then once this incident with the baby happened, it kind of took me off, and I just found it was just too much. And then at the end of the film, you know, the whole film is kind of subtle, and it's like, oh, it's a metaphor, but then by the end, the last 5 minutes, it literally turns into a play where the two characters are literally given this ham-fisted dialogue as if it's a Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I give you all my love, but I can't take it, and it was just...
When I came out of the movie initially, like as I was watching it, and when I came out of it in the first like hour, I kind of had a negative overall opinion about it. But as I've thought about it in the last, let's say, couple of days since I've seen it, I just realised how outlandish it is and how kind of unhinged and in a way self-indulgent. But what the hell, you know? It's like it is its own thing. And
yeah,
I don't think
it's crazy.
I don't think it's as smart or as deep as it thinks it is. Maybe it's not even trying to be. It's just trying to throw everything at you.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed how relentless it became, and how out there it became, and how unafraid to be what it was. So I don't know, you know, I have to praise it for that, really.
Yeah.
Was there anything there must be something you liked about it?
Just the performances, really. I liked the performances, and I did like the awkward exchanges at the beginning of the film, and then it got a bit too much as it went on. And I did like the first, when things went into utter chaos, I liked the beginning of that, and then it just, until the baby incident happened, and then I was kind of gone again. So I didn't like too much about the film. Like, I did feel this experience afterwards, but I just felt really uncomfortable walking home after this film. So
I suppose we'll try to sum it up. I feel like it's almost something you can't do to give this movie a score out of 10, because in one way there's things about it that can make me fully realise why somebody would give it a 1 out of 10, and there's things in it that make me empathise with the view that it deserves a 9 or a 10 out of 10. So I think out of 10 I'll give it a B. You know, that's about all I can say. I think it's a film worth seeing. Maybe a film you won't like, but there's enough individuality in it and enough crazy, unhinged, you know, just filmmaking ambition that for me makes up for its maybe, you know, dearth of ideas at the very core, and maybe it's, you know, its ability to take itself too seriously. But Mother is definitely a film worth seeing and a film worth talking about. Graham.
I would have to give the film a rating of orange. I can't really. Can you number? If I did have the number, I really didn't like it. I'd give it a 3. I'd say it's just, I don't think the film is that deep. You know, it is one big metaphor, but by the end, they're literally explaining it to you at the end. And when the film explains it to you, I don't think it's a deep film. I think Shane would really love the film because this is his type of film.
If only Shane was here.
If only Shane was here, because he actually loves Only God Forgives. So I think this film would be right up his alley. So Shane would probably give it a 10 out of 10. Me, I'd give it a 3.
Well, I suppose we should say what we usually say. Thanks for stopping by to this,
And Shane gives his
one-on-one
apologies
that we're having
for
here,
not being here.
And do what you usually do and leave a comment below, even though most of you usually don't. And subscribe, because we do it for you.
The
Thanks
kids.
for stopping by. Oh, that was awful.
Just one-on-one, that's the way we do it, baby. Just one-on-one, that's the way we do it. I think that will explain. Hey.